Hello and welcome to our class today. It is reading and writing, and we are going to do a summary writing today. Now, join me as we go through all the slides. The objectives of this lesson. The first is we are going to give an appropriate definition of a summary. We are going to know the characteristics of a good summary. We'll learn the techniques in summary writing. We'll learn steps in summary writing. We'll see a sample of a summary, and we'll practice on our own to produce a summary. So take note of all these objectives. That is what our lesson is going to be for today. Now, what is a summary? A summary is a shortened passage which retains the essential information of the original. It is a fairly brief restatement, in your own words, of the content of the passage. A summary keeps the same tone as the original piece or does not contain the opinion. Note, when you are writing a summary, you are simply reporting back what the writer has said without making value judgment. Now, let's look at the characteristics of a good summary. What makes your summary very attractive? What makes your summary become an A+ summary? The first one is it should be brief. It should be much shorter than the original article. It should be complete, and it covers all the main points that they ask you to cover in a piece of summary. You should paraphrase. Don't use the author's words. It should be objective. That is, don't add your own opinion. Now, let us look at the steps in writing a summary. The first one is we read the article carefully, making sure we understand the content. We annotate, that is, you take note of the main ideas and the major supporting details of the passage. You use those notes you have taken and you create an outline that will help you later to write your article, your summary. You begin with a sentence that includes the author's name and the title of the article or work you are summarizing. Now, let's take an example. If, for instance, you are asked to summarize this brief sentence that says, according to Joe Smith in Heavenly Eating for Life, the food we choose to eat influences the length and quality of our lives. So if you're going to summarize such a passage or a very short thing, it should be like this. Joe Smith in Heavenly Eating for Life states that the food we eat determines how long we live. So you realize that we have removed some words like the word according to, and we take them out. That's why we call ellipses in summary. That is, you remove some words that are not important at all, non-essential, and you maintain the main ones. Another example reads, the boy bought banana, watermelon, orange, and lemon. This example, we can use the generalization method. We generalize the ideas that have been mentioned into a very simple and short caption. For instance, we say, for the summary above, we can say the boy purchased fruit, rather than saying the boy bought banana, watermelon, orange, and lemon, thereby making it very brief and straight to the point. Now, as you can see, we have a model of a summary. The summary here you are seeing, it's a very long summary about an ego person, or sometimes we'll call the person an egomaniac. If you read through the passage, you realize that it's very long. But when it comes to the summary, you are going to summarize based on what they ask you about the particular passage. Now let's see the question for this particular model of a summary. Now the question reads, summarize the passage about ego-driven people in about 100 words. Now they have tagged it to this particular end. That is to say, you summarize all the ideas that have been spoken about an ego-driven person in just 100 words. And as you can see, the slide we have just seen there, it's a very long one, but you are expected to summarize using only 100 words. Now, it means that you will not exceed your summary more than 100. It can be 99, it can be less than 99, but it must not be more than 100 words. Take note of this. Now, the work that you have just seen there can be summarized in this way. And I will read the summary of that particular long passage so that you have a clue of what I have done. We say an ego-driven people are controlled by fear of failure, and they need to be correct always. They are dependent on what other people think of them and not humble and think they can never be wrong. Their behavior leads to arrogance. Unlike conceited people who think highly of themselves, arrogant people think much more highly of themselves compared to others. They also do not consider opinions of other people. Arrogant people only care of their own opinion and prefer to listen to people who flatter them. Arrogant people reward those who praise them and not those who give sincere feedback. So that is the summary of the very long passage you have seen there. And if you go by word count, you realize that we have 99 words out of that particular summary. So it's a very brief one if you compare it to what we have there as the passage. So that is how a summary should look like. Very brief, to the point, and you use your own words as far as possible. Now, as you can see, the summarized work that we have got here, a summary in brief should be something that should not bother you at all, especially when it comes to the writing aspect. But most of the time, students complain about using their own words. Mind you, as you have seen the clip, you have to paraphrase your ideas. You have to use your own words and you write to the shortest possible way. Now, for your exercise for this particular lesson, please follow up on Edmodo and on our WhatsApp page for the note and exercise. Thank you very much for your kind attention.